Hi everyone, it's Jennifer from Fiber Flux. Welcome to week 1 of the 2016 Fiber Flux Holiday Crochet Along. For this crochet along, we're going to be making the Merry Little Throw, this beautiful blanket that you see here. And I've made mine in some holiday colors for the season. Today we're going to be covering the basics of this project, plus any supplies that we'll need for this to make this blanket and for this project. We're going to be covering a different part of the blanket each week. So we're really going to be breaking it down into bite-sized pieces. So no matter what your skill level or experience level, you'll be able to make this blanket. We're going to end our crochet along with a fun maker gallery. So you'll be able to show off your work and to see what other people have been making as well. So I have the crochet along schedule broken down week by week. So I'm going to show you that now, and then we're going to continue on with supplies next. The Merry Little Throw is a classic join-as-you-go granny hexagon blanket with 24 hexagon motifs. Each motif is 4 rounds. So we're going to be learning later on in the crochet along how to do the join-as-you-go technique. In the past, with other motif projects we've done, we've learned how to whip stitch the motifs together, and we've learned how to single crochet them. If you prefer those methods, definitely feel free to do that. But we're going to be learning how to do the join-as-you-go technique. So the finished blanket measures approximately 42 inches wide and 60 inches long. So it's a nice throw for one person, a good size throw. Obviously, if you want to make your blanket larger, you can add more motifs to the outer edges to make it larger. So for this project, you're going to need a 10mm crochet hook. You're going to need a pair of scissors and a tapestry needle. And you'll also need, as an option, it's not necessary, a tape measure and a ruler so you can measure as you go along. Each one of these hexagons is about, from point to point, 11 inches tall, and from flat side to flat side, about 9 inches wide, just to give you an idea. Now, you don't necessarily, I've used super bulky yarn here. You don't necessarily need to use the super bulky yarn. If you do use a different weight yarn, for example, if you were to choose a worsted weight yarn, you'll need to make either more hexagons to achieve the same dimensions, or you'll need to work more rounds of your hexagons to make them the size hexagon we have here. The yarn that I'm going to be using for the crochet along is Lion Brand's Wool Ease Thick and Quick. And we're going to be using 9 balls of the Wool Ease Thick and Quick. It comes in a ton of colors. There's even some holiday colors that have some metallic thread woven through them, which would be a great choice for this project as well. I'm going to be using 3 balls of the cranberry colorway, 3 balls of the grass colorway, and 3 balls of the fisherman colorway. However, please feel free to switch up the colors, and if you're giving this as a gift, you can crochet it in the recipient's favorite colors. You can crochet it to match your home. You could do a rainbow. You know, the options are limitless. The yarn comes in tweeds, it comes in variegated shades, etc. So just know, though, as a side note, if you are switching it up, so the solids have a different yardage than some of the tweeds and other Wool Ease Thick and Quick yarn out there. But if you need to substitute yarn and you're looking for the same weight, just look for the 6 on the yarn label, the super bulky weight yarn. Also, later on in our crochet along, we're going to be using a little chart that may or may not help you, but it will show how all the hexagons are laid out. And what I like to do is take a pen, so you'll need a pen as an option to kind of color them in as you go along. Okay, so now you know all about the supplies, and you'll be able to hit the ground running next week for week 2 of the crochet along. I also wanted to mention to please join the Fiber Flux Crochet Along group on Ravelry, and there you can get your questions answered, you can share information, you can help each other, which is really nice to see. You can also peek at what everyone else is doing, and also it'll give you a space to show off your own work as well. So definitely join that little community that I've created, and there is a welcome section, so you can go on and introduce yourself to the group as well. I also wanted to give a special thank you to Lion Brand Yarn for sponsoring this crochet along. They've provided all the yarn for this blanket that you see here, so special thanks to Lion Brand for that. So we will see you next week for week 2, where we're all going to be learning how to crochet this basic granny hexagon. We are going to learn how to do it stitch by stitch and round by round. Even if you've never crocheted a chain before, we're going to learn how to make a chain, how to make a double crochet, and how to work in the spaces, how to work in the round, and how to switch colors. So we're going to be covering a lot. And if you've never crocheted before, this is a great place to start. So thanks so much for watching. Be sure and hit the subscribe button below, join our Ravelry group for the crochet along, and we will see you next week. Thanks so much for watching.